Hello everyone. Today we will discuss about the norma verticalis view of the skull. In the last class we have discussed about the introduction to skull, how skull comprises of the 22 bones and how the articulated skull is divided into two parts, neurocranium and splanchnicranium. And in this video demonstration we are seeing different views. Skull is studied in different views like vertical, frontal, lateral and basal, occipital. So today we are focusing our discussion on norma verticalis. We will deal with it under following headings. First we will see the shape, bones forming the norma verticalis. What are the bones there? Sutures, sutural points, and other points like vertex, parietal foramina, eminences, fontanellae, and lastly applied aspects. So when you hold the skull in anatomical position, like in the Frankfurt plane, where the plane passes through the lower margin of the orbit and upper margin of the auditory canal or ear canal or external acoustic canal, you can say, and view it from above, it is the norma verticalis view. The Frankfurt plane, which we have discussed in the last video demonstration. So this is the view, norma verticalis view, where the skull is ovoid in shape. Anterior part is narrower than the posterior part. Posterior part is broad, and you will see the bones, sutures and points there. You can see anterior part is narrow, posterior part is broad. So what are the features you are going to appreciate in norma verticalis? So you will see 4 bones, 3 sutures, 2 sutural points, 1 highest point, that is vertex, and 1 pair of parietal foramina, pair of parietal eminences, and you will also see fontanella, obelion and stephanion. So remember the significant features or principal features of norma verticalis has 4, 3, 2, 1 in descending orders. 4 bones, 3 sutures, 2 points and 1 pair of foramina and eminences. So what are the 4 bones which we are going to appreciate here? I request you to hold the dry skull in your hand and try to appreciate in this norma verticalis view. The 4 bones are frontal bone, pair of parietal bone on each side, occipital bone posteriorly. So you will see squamous part of the frontal bone anteriorly, 2 parietal bones on each side of the midline, and squamous part of occipital bone posteriorly. So 4 bones you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, frontal, left parietal, right parietal and occipital. This we have already discussed in the neurocranium. These all are neurocranium. And you will see 3 sutures holding these 4 dermal bones or membranous bones. You can see here 3 sutures. They are named depending upon their position or shape or location. So you will see 3 sutures, coronal, sagittal and lambdoid. Coronal suture, it is present between the unpaired frontal bone and 2 parietal bones, that is pair of parietal bones, and it crosses the cranial vault from side to side. It is a horizontal suture. Corona means the ring. The virus we are seeing nowadays, corona, it has a ring like structure. So corona means crown, as if you are holding the crown. That is the coronal suture. And sagittal suture, the name itself suggests that it is in the sagittal plane or in the median plane between the 2 bones, 2 parietal bones. Lambdoid suture, it is shaped like a lambda between the occipital and pair of parietal bones, that is lambdoid suture. So these 3 sutures are there in all the skulls in norma verticalis view, coronal, sagittal and lambdoid. Sometimes you will also get a suture called as metopic suture, which is occasionally present in 3 to 8% of individuals. It lies in the median plane and separates the 2 halves of frontal bone. It may be persistent or it may become ossified, because frontal bone ossifies from 2 centers, right and left. And coming to the basis of this suture nomenclature, as I already told you, it depends on the shape or position or in between the bones. So we call sagittal as interparietal suture also, and we call occipito-parietal suture as lambdoid suture depending upon the shape. So sometimes by getting the name only you can identify, sometimes you have to find them, like in case of lambdoid. And 2 points, here you will see bregma and lambda. Bregma is a point where the coronal suture meets the sagittal suture in a T shape, and it is a site of fontanellae, a membranous gap during the developmental stage. It closed by 18 months. this fibrous gap we'll discuss in the coming slides. Lambda, it is a point where sagittal meets lambdoid suture in a, you can say, Y shape, you can say there, and it is the site of posterior fontanella. It closes by 3rd month of age, whereas anterior fontanella 18 to 24 months. And coming to the highest point, what is the highest point on the skull in norma verticalis view? When you view laterally, the highest point is vertex. This vertex is usually taken during the measurement of the different diameters of the skull. So it is anthropologically very important. And you also see one pair of parietal foramina on either side of the sagittal suture, just 2.5 to 4 centimeter in front of lambda. You can see there, in front of lambda point on either side of sagittal suture. In the parietal bones, you are seeing foramina which transmit emissary veins. Emissary veins are wall-less veins which connect intracranial vein with the extracranial veins. Here you can see that pair of parietal foramina, one pair. So it connects the superior sagittal sinus overlying this sagittal below the sagittal suture with the extracranial veins of the scalp and the meningeal branch of the occipital artery. You can see the connection there. I told you emissary veins advantage is they maintain the intracranial pressure, but disadvantage they act as channels of infection. And coming to the pair of parietal eminences on either side, when we view the skull from above, that is norma verticalis view, anterior part is narrow, posterior part is broad. At the broad posterior, the lateral most points are parietal eminences of the parietal bone. So other points of interest here, apart from vertex, bregma and lambda, one point is obelion. It is a point and sagittal suture between two parietal foramina. Again, it has an anthropological significance used in anthropological measurements. And one more point is stephanion, where the temporal lines cross the coronal suture. That point is called as stephanion. You can see that is stephanion. And coming to the fontanellae, as we already discussed, these are the unossified fibromembranous gaps or fibrous gaps between the developing dermal bones of the skull, which help in molding during parturition. Molding is the sliding of the bones one over each other during the parturition, that is process of labor, to help to pass through the vaginal canal and also help in development of brain. So all these bones are individual bones which are movable during the fetal life, and they later become immovable by sutures. So you can see these fontanelles are fibrous gaps which help in molding and development of brain. So you can see there are around 6 fontanellas. Already we have discussed anterior and posterior, and there are 2 lateral, anterolateral and posterolateral fontanellas. The anterolateral fontanella is called as pterion, the red dot that is depicting that, pterion, whereas posterolateral you will see asterion. So fontanellas are there, pair of anterolateral fontanella at the level of pterion, pair of posterolateral at the level of asterion here, where it is a Y-shaped suture, you can see there, and you will see unpaired anterior and posterior fontanellas at bregma and lambda respectively. And coming to the applied aspects, if these sutures fuse early or premature closure of the suture may cause craniosynostosis. So there may be formation of deformed skull there. Premature closure of the sagittal suture results in long and narrow wedge-shaped skull, whereas premature closure of the coronal and lambdoid sutures result in twisted and asymmetrical skulls. So craniosynostosis means the early closure of cranial bones or fusion of cranial bones. So when you see here in this animated model, you can see the norma verticalis, you will see it is ovoid in shape, and anterior end is narrow, posterior end is broad. You can see the 4 bones there, frontal, pair of parietal, and posteriorly you can see the occipital bone. So 4 bones here, squamous part of frontal bone, parietal bones in the on either side of the midline, and squamous part of occipital bone are visible in this norma verticalis view. You can see 4 bones. It is ovoid, egg shape. Anterior end is narrow, posterior end is broad. You can see two parietal eminences on either side posteriorly. So these 4 bones, I told you to remember the rule 4, 3, 2, 1 in descending order. 4 bones, 3 sutures here, and you will see 2 points, bregma and lambda, and 1 pair of parietal foramina and 1 vertex. So 3 sutures, that is coronal, sagittal, and here you will see lambdoid suture. 4 bones, 3 sutures, you can appreciate that, and 2 points you can see here. The 2 points are, that is bregma, and posteriorly you can see the lambda point, that is lambda, where coronal meets the, where sagittal meets the lambdoid suture. Sagittal interparietal suture meets the lambdoid suture, that is lambda point. You can appreciate that. So when you view this norma verticalis from the lateral side, or you are viewing the top of the skull from the lateral side, you will see the highest point there. As we already know, highest point is called as vertex. Highest point on the skull on sagittal suture or in the midline, we call it as vertex. I told you this vertex is very important in case of measurements of this fetal skull diameters, to see whether the fetus can pass through the vaginal canal or birth canal or not. So this is a vertex, and these are pair of parietal foramina on either side of sagittal suture, 2.5 to 4 cm in front of lambda, and they help in transmission of emissary veins, as you already know. And you will see 2 parietal eminences on either side here. These are the, you can say, parietal tubers, because the parietal bone begins ossification from the periphery to center, like a spokes of wheel here, like this. So you will see parietal eminences, and this parietal eminence are also important in measurement of biparietal diameter, which is anthropological indicator of the fetal growth. In case of ultrasonography, they will measure this biparietal diameter. It is also one of the indicators of Down syndrome. So biparietal diameter is very important to assess the growth of the fetus in utero, and that is the obelion. The point between the 2 parietal foramina on sagittal suture is called as obelion. And one more point what we discussed is stephanion, where temporal line meets the coronal suture, that is stephanion. Obelion and stephanion are the other 2 points of anthropological significance. So bregma is there, this is lambda, obelion, stephanion, and highest point on the skull is vertex. So bregma is a location of anterior fontanelle, the fibrous gap which fuse by 18-24 months. Lambda is a site of posterior fontanelle which fuse by 2 to 3 months of age. And 2 other sites where this fontanelle are seen, anterolateral is pterion, posterolateral is asterion. You can see pterion, that is pterion, where 4 bones meet, frontal, parietal, sphenoid and temporal, H-shaped suture, that is H-shaped point, that is pterion, location of anterolateral fontanelle which fuse by 2 to 3 months of age. And posteriorly you will see Y-shaped asterion, where again you can see the mastoid part of temporal bone, occipital bone and parietal bone meet. It is roughly Y-shaped. Pterion is H-shaped. So these are the other locations of the fontanelle. Pterion and asterion are paired, bregma and lambda are unpaired. So total 6 fontanelles. I told you fontanelle help in development of brain and molding. And one more thing you remember is metopex suture, present in 3 to 8% individuals between the 2 frontal bones. Usually it is not there, but if it is present, it is called as metopex suture between 2 frontal bones. And sometimes what happens, this commonest part of occipital bone is called as planum occipital, may be separated from the remaining part of the occipital bone, then it is called as interparietal bone. As it lies between the two parietal bones, it is called as interparietal bone, or you can say sutural bone. Between the sutures it is present, sutural bone. So these are the different things to look out in this norma verticalis view. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.